live in about 2 seconds.
No. Sorry. Good afternoon and welcome to Indian Time here on MuscogeeMedia.com. Jason Salzman, Jessica McBride. I want to thank you for joining us on this program, this live stream that we do daily to let everybody know what's happening here at Muscogee Media. Jessica, what's happening here at Muscogee Media?
Well, we had our April board meeting today.
Yes.
And
editorial board
meeting, exactly. Discussed a lot of things as far as kind of the vision where the department's headed, goals, ideas that we'd like to bring to the table, and then also scheduled our next board meeting for 2:30, May 26th. And those are always available via conference call, so if you live outside the jurisdiction or you're at work and you want to tune in and find out what's going on, you can call in and listen to what our board is saying.
Yes, and still waiting on the third board member, actually, which would be an appointment from the Office of Principal Chief. We have heard, though, that that's in the works and that we're a lot further along than we were not too long ago. Very much so, granted, though. The principal chief has lots of things on his plate right now, but we are awaiting that third board member, and that's almost monthly. You know, they're very eager. The board is to get that third member in.
And this position is also has to be confirmed by the National Council by a majority vote. So once that nomination is made, it will go before council through legislation.
Just like a prospective controller this next weekend, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Catherine Guthrie will be up for confirmation, and she's the only one, right, I think? Or
I believe Alvin Bucktrot is listed on there, too.
Alvin Bucktrot as well. So that's something to look for this Saturday, right?
This upcoming Saturday, yes. And then Department of Education and Training, they're looking Greg Anderson. Yeah. So all of those will go before council.
Council, let me just tell you, give me a call about Greg Anderson. I'll tell you everything you need to know. No, he's a guy. I've known Greg a long time. So, fellow Eufaula guy. So, he's a good egg. Lots of things to talk about, though, with the board meeting. Some good things brought up. The fact that we're really setting ourselves up for self-sufficiency one of these days, for the crowd that thinks that, they can't be independent unless it's not tribally funded, but I think that's where we're going towards, and we want to set up things like that will get us to that point.
I think so.
Yep. Well, also this morning, Dennis Banks, the principal founder of the American Indian Movement in 1968, which of course was, came about from what they believe to be unfair police treatment of natives in Minneapolis area, in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. There at that time, branched out to going to Wounded Knee for the same type of problems in 1973. Of course, then you have the Wounded Knee occupation that got all the national press, and then from there, having longest walks. Each walk, this is the fifth one. Each longest walk, bringing awareness to one or another social issues in Indian country. The first one in 1978. Longest Walk 1 focused on, there was 11 bills in Congress that were sort of up for discussion, and Native American rights were up for discussion in that. So that's kind of what brought the initial. And then it started branching off into different issues. There was a walk to free Leonard Peltier that started back in, in San Francisco area, Alcatraz. There was a occupation of Alcatraz there, the longest walk to bring diabetes awareness and how diabetes was affecting our Indian communities, as well as a walk to commemorate sacred sites, which coincided with our own very publicized and very important battle of Ogiobova, Hickory Ground in Alabama, with the Porch Creeks. And that, he became a big player in that as well. So throughout life and time, he has went through the American Indian movement from a young age to now he's 79 years old.
Oh, wow.
He came into Muscogee Media Studios and sat with us for an interview, and we got to talk with him for nearly an hour. I mean, it was just, we talked about a little bit of everything. And this walk that he's on now, currently, he's coming through Creek Country, and that's why we were so fortunate. Bonnie Deere, one of our Creek citizens, the son of the late Philip Deere, of course, had Dennis out to the Roundhouse. The Deere family hosted him. Mm-hmm. Of course, Dennis was back when the original Roundhouse was there, and Philip Deere had the Indigenous Peoples Conference there, the first one. And so it was kind of full circle for him to come back, and Bonnie brought him in here. I want to thank Bon for that. But, Dennis talked about, the differences between now and then, and really some of the similarities, and how that's unfortunate that there's still some of the same issues in 1968 that we thought we got to get solved. We got to, get, over and sort of maybe try to turn the corner here. We're still seeing the same kind of thing as we talked about last week in Winslow, Arizona. You're seeing some of these same issues that they're having to get involved with as an American Indian movement. So this walk, focusing on drug abuse in our tribal communities, he really talked about meth at length and how he's talked to tribal spiritual leaders that are so worried about it because, you're seeing reservations in Montana, South Dakota, just eaten alive by it right now. And even our rural places here in Oklahoma, we've definitely seen it. You've seen all kinds of things that we've done as a health department and as a community human services have meth prevention type of things. So it's one of the things that like alcoholism, we've really had to hone in on, and different things like that have led to drug abuse and suicide rates and everything. All the statistics that everybody throws out and wants to talk about Indian country. There's so much more to us than that. But yes, that is something that plagues us. So we do bring awareness to it through things like this. So the Longest Walk 5 coming through, talking about, as I said, drug abuse and domestic violence. He shared with us a pretty gut-wrenching story during his interview about his granddaughter. His granddaughter was actually murdered and left in a shallow grave, and just her body was mutilated, and he shared that with us, and that it was a domestic violence situation. So he feels strongly about it, of course, and I won't tell all of it, but I'll let Mr. Banks say it there on the interview. But he's very, very passionate about this walk this time, and he was even actually able to visit with our good people at the Family Violence Prevention Program. They gave him his Warriors Honor Women hoodie, and he was talking about that. So pretty good stuff. And
when is that going to air?
That will air probably
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. It'll be up on the MuscogeeMedia.com, and it'll air on the TV show probably next weekend, not this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday we have our exclusive interview with the Principal Chief, which is doing well. Thank you, folks, for going and watching that, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback off of that. So continue to go to our YouTube channel and continue to stay here at MuscogeeMedia.com for all of our content. We're going to have some stuff coming out here down the pipe pretty soon, and it's got a lot to do with not only our ongoing coverage of the health system. Obviously, not everybody knows that I have Indian time, but people hitting me up on the phone. But I got to have it on me. It's the movers and shakers around here. We got to stay on top of the news. But stay with our website, stay with our YouTube channel, stay with all of our social media outlets. Jessica, is there anything in the paper we should be looking for? Part 2,
keep an eye out for part 2 of the installment. It'll either be up on the website late today or early tomorrow.
Good. Sounds great. And fantastic job again on part 1. We'll be looking forward to the rest of it. And you want all access, you go to Jessica McBride. All right. Thanks, Jessica. And stay right here on MuscogeeMedia.com as well. Be watching Indian Time each day, and stay up with all of our material as we provide it to you, the Muscogee citizens. For Jessica and myself, we'll see you guys next time. This has been Indian Time. Chihichathles. I like to move this out to see if I can make